If I were to ask you, who is the greatest player of all time, how would you judge it? Would it be because of how many points they scored, how many championships they won, or who they were off the court? How they carried themselves? How hard they stood up for what they believed in? I believe that the person I'm going to talk about is not only the greatest player of all time, but also was a pioneer for black athletes to not only use their voice, but their platform to fight for racial justice and social equality. He embraced who he was as a person, even if no one else did, and pushed the narrative of an athlete's relationship with the media to help give them more control over how on April 16th, 1947, and that man is Ferdinand Louis Alcindor Jr. was born in Harlem, New York. He had always had a deep love of sports as a kid, and thanks to his father, always wanted to pursue a career in either journalism or basketball. By the end of his 7th grade year, he was already 5'8" and already the tallest kid in his class. But at the start of his high school career, he was already 6'8" and clearly head and shoulders above everybody else. He attended Power Memorial Academy, where he proved to have one of the most accomplished high school basketball careers in history. During his 4-year time there, he led his team to 71 consecutive wins, along with 3 straight city titles, and set numerous NYC school records in scoring and rebounding, some of which are still standing today. His team was later recognized as the #1 high school team in the century by national sports writers. All of this attention had given Alcindor a chance to play college for some of the top universities in America. It seemed like at one point every college was knocking on his door for his services. But ultimately, he decided to play for the University of California in Los Angeles under the legendary coach of John Wooden. Standing at 7 feet, 2 inches tall, Alcindor had immediately become a dominant threat at the collegiate level and helped UCLA become one of the established teams in all of college basketball. Even in his first game as a Bruin, Alcindor had scored 56 points, setting a single-game record, instantly drawing media attention and quickly being labeled the new superstar. His game was so dominant that in 1967, the NCAA had decided to temporarily ban the use of the dunk due to Alcindor's high success rate of it. During his 3-year stint there, he had won Player of the Year twice. In 1969, Alcindor was selected first overall by the Milwaukee Bucks, and during his time there, he not only won Rookie of the Year, but Most Valuable Player twice, and helped the Bucks capture their first championship in 1971, where he won Finals MVP as well. He also established himself as a household name and one of the premier players in the NBA. In 1975, he requested to be traded to Los Angeles to join forces with future Hall of Famers Magic Johnson and James Worthy to be part of the famous Showtime Lakers. While there, he also became famous for his unorthodox but also unstoppable shot known as the skyhook, which had a high success rate because of his height advantage and great footwork. During his 14-year career there, he had won 5 NBA championships, 3 regular season MVPs, and a Finals MVP. In his autobiography, he claims that he's not going to remember all of his on-the-court accomplishments as much as what he learned off the court from his mentors and his idols. He got to study and watch and interview some of the greatest people of his generation, including Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali, who we all learned lessons from, and lessons of self-respect, self-discipline, and how to be confident as a person and who you are. Part of the reason is why he changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At UCLA, he had practiced Islam and wanted to be confident in who he was as a person and wanted to own his identity. This led him to not only change his name, but to speak out on the racial and social injustice issues in America at that time with the Civil Rights Movement. Because of him, he is viewed as an example for black athletes today as someone who used their voice and used their platform for something bigger than their sport.